Okay, so the focus of today's chest workout is to really have a look at the upper clavicular portion of the pectoralis major and to separate that from the more of the lower midsection. The first exercise that I'm starting with after performing a couple of light warm-up sets and a few stretches is this sort of a standing modified incline press. The reason I'm doing it this way and not on a bench is I feel that by angling my back so that my shoulder blades are on the top section of the bench, I get a lot more activation, a lot more feeling in the upper portion of the chest. And also by using a closer grip, about shoulder width apart, I get that much more feeling in the mid and upper section of my chest as opposed to doing more of a standard wider grip, certainly wider than shoulder width. A few tips on this one. You really can't go as heavy as when you do a normal incline barbell press. So I'm about 30 or 40% of less weight. However, the feeling that I'm getting in the muscle is that much more intense that I really don't need that much more weight. The execution though is really important. You'll see here I'm not often going all the way down to touch my chest, only about 2/3 of the way down, and because of that closer, narrower grip, as I extend my arms up, I can really squeeze and contract the upper portion of the chest much more than if I've got a wider grip. 3 to 4 sets on here. I kind of reach my ceiling limit with the weight and stick with that same weight, 10 to 12 reps, and again, slower tempo. As I'm driving the arms up, I'm consciously squeezing and engaging the upper portion of my chest, pausing momentarily up at the top, and as I lower that bar back down, resisting that weight back down, but I'm not allowing the weight to come all the way down and touching my chest, stopping about 1/3 of the way from the bottom. This feels really good, definitely feel it in the upper portion of the chest. Now let's move on, have a look at exercise number 2, and again, ton more modified and variations with this dumbbell incline press. Let's go. Here we are, exercise number 2, and as you'll see, I'm pretty much working through every possible angle on the incline bench, and this is just to work the upper region of the chest, both flat and through all varieties for full development. This way, I'm not just limiting myself to a certain incline angle or a flat bench, and I'm using the same weight. In fact, starting off fairly heavy on the flat bench, and then 1 click up, and then just to be able to keep that rep range between 8 to 10, I'm gonna drop the weight down and then work my way up through at least 3 more inclines. Yes, it's gonna bring a little bit more front deltoid in, but it's kind of part of the exercise. Starting with a complete flat bench, you'll see on this, especially with dumbbells, as opposed to a barbell, I'm getting full depth in that range of motion. Bringing the weight all the way down so that the midsection, or my hand rather, is pretty much in line with my pectorals. Then I'm driving up, consciously squeezing, engaging the chest all the way up, but I'm not allowing the weights to touch up at the top. By doing this, I relieve tension away from the muscle. So if you're going quickly and you're banging the weights down, first of all, you're not able to fully consciously contract, engage and squeeze the pectorals throughout that full range of motion. And also by knocking the weights at the top, you're kind of relieving the pectorals of the tension at the point at which you need to be engaging them the most. So drive the weights up, pause momentarily at the top, control back down as deep as you can go, and then repeat. You're gonna experience a few sticking points along the way on this one, but that's fine. If you need to drop down the weight or have a spot or a training partner behind you, just assist by lightly matching your tempo under the elbows to continue that range of motion, do that. But so far, exercises 1 and 2 with that modified incline barbell press and these various angles on the incline bench has certainly engaged and worked my upper chest. So now let's move on, switch up the style of the movement. We'll do some flies where we're gonna open the chest out, which is in fact the natural movement of the pectorals. It's this sort of hugging or bird wing flapping motion. Lots of variations with this one. The first 2, I'm gonna stick with a flat bench, pretty heavy weight for me, and a full range of motion. Nice and deep, stretching out the pectorals here. And as I drive up without flexing at the arm, and keeping all of that tension, stress in my chest. All the way up, once again, not allowing the weights to touch up at the top, pausing just before they make contact, and then resisting the weights back down. So I'm not throwing the weights up and bouncing them at the bottom. For my third set, I've actually modified the bench for a slight decline, and you'll see I've gone up to a heavier weight. And for this one, I'm gonna be working through the final third or 2/3 of the motion, all the way out and down. And as I come back up, I'm stopping just a little bit higher than my elbow to my chest. What this does is puts a lot more emphasis and work done on the outer region of the pec, instead of fully transferring it and bringing in that sort of that sternum area of the pectoral, which really becomes activated up at the top. So nice full depth there, opening out the arms as wide as I can. And then my fourth set, I'm gonna bring it back up to an incline, go back to a lighter weight, and once again go through a full range of motion. So 3 different variations with the dumbbell flies. It's really opened out my chest, a lot of work done on the outer region. This feels really good, so I'm gonna move on. Superset now, some parallel bar dips with some dumbbell pullovers. So exercise number 4 is a superset performed back to back. And for this, I'm doing dumbbell pullovers. No variations here, just a flat bench, a dumbbell, holding it with a sort of a diamond shaped on the underside of that plate. And for this, I'm keeping my arms fixed in with a slight bend in the elbow, opening the arms out, stretching out the chest. It's not an exercise that you're gonna feel the same as a press or a fly movement. It's more of a thoracic expansion. And what I mean by that is, it's designed to open out the rib cage. So breathing is really important on this one. As you lower the weight down, really take a deep breath in, expand the rib cage, pause at the top so you're not bouncing that weight, and then drive that weight back over to the center line of your chest. You don't need to go too heavy on here. You feel it more as a stretch, but then superset this straight after with some parallel bar dips. Basically a tricep press, but we're going to tilt slightly forwards at the waist, and what this will do is it will pull in more of the lower region of the chest. You can add some weight, but if you're supersetting it directly after the dumbbell pullover, you'll likely find that by set number 2 and certainly by 3, you're going to be hitting a good level of failure by even 5 or 6 reps. And if you need to, you can have a spotter as well, support you under the legs just to help finish those final 2 reps. 2 or 3 sets here. And we're going to finish off with a final work set of some cable flies moving from different angles. So let's go to that. With these, I'm going to do 2 sets of the high level cable crossovers. And by cable crossovers, you'll see that I'm literally crossing my arms over. The benefit of doing this, as opposed to just doing this, is really just to get that extra inch or 2 in that range of motion. So I'm really putting in tight that inner and upper region of my chest, really opening my arms wide, so I'm stepping forwards to get that stretch, keeping my chest up as I come down, crossing my arms, and really squeezing and contracting that chest a lot. And then finishing off just with 1 or 2 sets of that lower cable, just for some variation. All in all, you'll see throughout this chest workout, lots of variations, lots of different angles, both with a pressing movement, a fly, and a dip and a pullover. Tons of variations. Yes, a lot of volume, a lot of sets, but for me personally, this is what I feel I need to do to really work and engage all of my chest for full development. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video. If you do so, like it, leave a comment, make sure you subscribe. We have a ton more videos coming soon. And also be sure to check out my Facebook and my Instagram for daily inspiration on tips and nutrition. That's me. See you next time. Take care.